Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Roker Rapport podcast in association with Sunderland Community Soup Kitchen. And I think I've started that and sound quite chipper. We didn't win this weekend, as you'll all be very well aware of now, but still we're on the road to promotion more or less, and I'm here today joined by Chris Wynn.
You alright, Gav?
I'm alright. How are you, mate?
Yeah, couple of days to reflect.
Craig, how are you? Craig's back again.
Yeah, surprisingly calm. I think we've just got to get rid of the feelings about the Charlton game now and obviously just kick on to the next. But we're all right,
Charlton, man. We're finished with Charlton. Don't worry about them anymore. I just never want to play them again because they're just the one constant through my life as a Sunderland fan is those twats like ruining everything. So if we end up in the playoffs and have to play them, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably just go into hiding in a cave somewhere and forget about football and lose my mind because Charlton are just a right. I don't really want to talk about Charlton actually, but we're going to have to, aren't we? That's why we're here, of course, is to reflect on the game. I mean, Chris, it's not the end of the world, like you've just said, sort of, before we came on air, because I said I've kind of ignored everything since the end of the game until this point. It's important we sort of don't stew on it too much, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And I don't think there's a huge amount to stew on. And I think, I said this in the chat earlier that I don't think our performance against Charlton was anything kind of hugely different to what we've been doing for a long time. I don't think you can point to the Charlton game and go, we were absolutely shocking compared to X. And I think I said on a previous pod, I think the only game where we've really stepped it up and been a level above is that Portsmouth away game. And Saturday's performance, I forget what day it was. Saturday's performance was typical. That's how we've been playing, but we've been getting results. And I know it sounds daft, but that's the only difference. It's just that in other games we've been finding a way to get a draw, to get a win. Well, most of the time to get a win, but we've been grinding out points and we've been just doing enough and doing what it takes to win without absolutely battering teams. And we came up against a good side, and the crucial thing, well, I'm sure we'll come on to it, but we didn't take our big moments and we lost the game. Yeah,
it pretty much that's all it was decided on, Craig, wasn't it? Another day we probably could have won that.
Yeah.
If a crap League One goalkeeper, for instance, had been playing for Charlton, then we probably would have scored a bunch of goals, but Ben Amos is a canny keeper, he's played at a decent level, came through at Man U. There's a reason he's playing for Charlton, who are a decent team, For once, a keeper actually did well against us. How many times could you say that this season where we've actually came up against a decent goalkeeper? It's just one of those things, isn't it? We can't dwell on it overly.
No, I think you're right. And credit to Amos because I thought he was fantastic. I think my biggest frustration or my biggest takeaway is that it just felt self-inflicted. I thought we started okay. Yeah. We got in the box a lot, certainly a lot more than we did against Peterborough. I thought we showed plenty of threat, and we're talking about taking chances. We really should have been out of sight after the first 20 minutes. But again, it's one of those stories, isn't it, where we're failing to make the most of the chances that we're creating. Charlie Wykes had a number of good opportunities, but he's come up against a very good goalkeeper. But I think that's probably where the positives start to run out, truth be told, because me and Chris, we spoke about it going into this game, about our concerns after the Peterborough match, about our positioning. And I felt positionally we were a bit of a mess, at least for the first hour. I thought we couldn't cope with Charlton's physicality at times and their high press. And essentially, that's what we're undone by, our own calamitous defending. And I know Lee Johnson, he criticised the officials for the first goal, but look, the warning signs were there. We didn't heed the warning. And ultimately, if you're going to concede soft goals, that's where you're going to make it much more difficult, and it's an uphill battle. I thought besides that, though, our response was all right. McFadden and McGeady both had chances. But look, like we said, Charlton are a good side. They always looked a threat when they went forward. And the second goal was just a disaster, I thought. We got away with one where Stockley hit the post. Then there's a little bit of confusion after those substitutions. But look, there's no way that second goal should have been, anywhere near. It's the fact that I think the lad Gilby, he's had like 2 chances to stick that away, and we haven't done anything about it. But like I said, I think it's one of those, if we dwell upon it too much, that's where your season's going to just go down the toilet. But look, it's one of those games we're never ever going to go through this run without dropping points. I understand that obviously there is, a lot of unhappy, unsatisfied people as a result, but I think that's just due to the expectations. They've shifted massively now.
Oh, absolutely. I think we said before we came on air, we just had a quick look at, obviously we've gone without losing for 14 games prior to that, which was the Shrewsbury match in February. And since then, we were in 7th place at that point. We're 3rd now. I mean, a massive unbeaten run.
Yeah.
A cup final win in that time. We've come such a long way, Chris, haven't we? We've, like Craig's just said, we've raised the bar that much in terms of expectation and just standards that, of course, people should be sort of frustrated and upset, right? But you've also got to reflect and take a step back.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable run, and like you said, it's raised expectations, but so it should. This is where our expectations should be. And it's going to sound arrogant, and I know there might be reaction to that to say, why should we expect blah blah blah. But when you put a run together like that, you start expecting, and you start expecting results. But we've had a run. I mean, if you think before then, we had a run where we had the likes of Swindon and Rochdale at home, who were possibly two of the worst sides I've seen, to be honest. I mean, Rochdale tried to play football, but you could just tell they were trying, but without the talent.
Yeah.
And in the last 3 games, we've come up against 3 really good sides. I mean, Oxford gave us a real scare. That could have turned out different, but we got the big moments right. Peterborough was a battle, and we managed to get a point out of that. They're a good side, and Charlton were a good side. I mean, I was going to come on to your point of what you said there, Craig, about Charlton, the high press. I mean, you could actually hear Nigel Atkins in the recording, like screaming to his team to get up and push up and squeeze up on us. I think he'd said before the game, the build-up, that he'd watched us and seen how we played. And as it turned out, he knew exactly what our weaknesses were. And I'm not sure there's too many sides in this league who play to our weaknesses as well as Nigel Atkins and Charlton did.
Yeah. So I threw it out on Twitter, just asked the Roker Report followers to give us some positives from the game. I know I've said this in the last podcast. I'm trying to be as happy clappy as I can at the minute. So even in defeat, I've asked the Twitter followers to extract some positives from the performance and the run in general. And to be fair, people have come up with quite a few. Hannah Bowater, who obviously is part of the Roker Report team, she has made a very good point. Hull and Peterborough both have Charlton still to play, which I didn't realise. I think if Charlton play like they did against us, they'll give both of them a game. SAFC North Yorkshire says we're in a much better position now than when Party was here. Very true. Andy Lynn says hopefully we bounce back like we did after our last defeat. 6 wins and a draw from 7 then. Do the same again now our next 7 and we'll go up. Cameron Johnson says despite not scoring, Wyke's remaining to create chances, just like Posh away for himself. The intensity at the start couldn't be matched by Charlton. In that time, Sunderland should have put the game to bed. Ross Stewart remains to impress for me anyway. That's not a positive, Cameron. You're not meant to tag a little negative on the end. Chris Day says the positives would be the chances we created in the first half. And we really would have been out of sight had the keeper not played an absolute blinder. Same approach and would put them away in other games. I mean, they're all similar theme, people sort of pointing to the fact we created so many chances. That was definitely what was at the forefront of my mind, Craig, in terms of the overall performance, is that on another day, and we've already touched on this, but on another day that we would have probably scored at least 2 of those. We just have to sort of accept that occasionally you're going to come up against a good team. I mean, Charlton, to be fair to them, right, they've improved massively. I wouldn't say massively, but marginally improved since Adkins came in. And when you see the squad, to be fair, they've got a decent squad for this level. I mean, you've got to kind of remember as well that they just dropped out of the Championship. So they've brought with them some decent players, and it was going to click at some point. I just didn't expect it to be towards the back end of the season. What if you had to select, say, 2 positives, Craig? Then what would you pick out?
Well, look, although it doesn't feel this way now, but the most important thing really is it's still in our hands, isn't it? And of course, we know it's going to be a massive ask to go and win every game from here, but why not? The lads have proven already that they're more than capable of putting a run together. And I don't think anyone truly believed that we wouldn't drop points. But now at this point, it's just how we respond. It's only our 4th defeat under Lee Johnson so far. and they were all followed up by a win. So we are capable of doing it. We just need to take each game as it comes. And now we have a few extra bodies back in the squad. It's going to give us more options in this run-in. Johnson touched on the idea in his post-match comments the other day, saying that we were carrying some individuals in the first half. He's right. But, he can replace them if he needs. Denver Hume in particular is going to be a massive positive for us. He's got a big part to play in the run-in. And perhaps might be a little too soon for him to last a full 90 minutes. But, even if that's the case, then Callum McFadden should be able to do a job there. I know he comes in for enormous criticism at times. More often than not, it is justified. But I thought he actually played quite well on Saturday. He was good going forward, caused a few problems.
Yeah, well, Rich gave a man the match on the player ratings pod,
yeah,
which might surprise people.
There was a suggestion that we may see Bailey Wright back in the squad also. And if we do, whether, he can only last for a short period of time or not, it's going to be a massive bonus. It's an opportunity now to try and finally get people in their preferred positions, because we know how makeshift we've been. But I certainly think there's more positives than anything else at this stage. And, we just need to kick on and get 3 points.
Yeah, that segues us nicely into the Wigan game then, because we obviously take on Wigan on Tuesday. It's probably not going to be the cakewalk that it might have been earlier in the season. I think Wigan have improved a fair bit recently. I mean, they battered Doncaster at the weekend 4-1 away from home. So I know Doncaster are poor at the minute, but it does show that they've got a bit of quality in their team, and we shouldn't take them lightly at least. But you're right. If we are going to get promoted, that's a game you have to win. I mean, when we sat back and looked at probably the last 10 games of the season, that was, and everyone was doing those predictors that were going around, I'm pretty sure there would have been nobody who would have wrote down anything other than 3 points for that game. So it's going to be tough, isn't it, Chris? But it's just another game. Mark Egan wrote a piece on the site this weekend, great piece, where he spoke about how we sort of have to just forget about Charlton now and think about the next game. It's, one at a time. Make sure we just go into it with our full focus. Don't worry about what Peterborough and Hull are doing. Sort of concentrate on ourselves and hopefully get the points.
Yeah, and I think, the difference is now I think we've got a manager who we know works like that. He's got a plan for each individual game, and I think he probably already planned or had a plan in his mind for the Wigan game before the Charlton game. He's like that. I think he planned such in advance that he knows what type of game he wants to play against which opposition and how he wants us to set up. But in terms of Wigan, they beat Doncaster, but that was their only win in the last 5, and they've lost 3 out of the last 5. So they did have a bit of a bounce, I think, after kind of the kind of ownership got sorted out, and they kind of got themselves sorted a little bit. But and that was a cracking result they got last time out. So it's not going to be, but there's not many. I mean, you go away from home against some of the sides who are in that bottom half of the table, and none of them are really easy games. You have to, they're a proper battle, they're a proper slog. I mean, I'm sure the players, even when we go away and get 3 points, come away battered and bruised. I mean, they're all kind of tough games. But yeah, I mean, it's a funny one in terms of how we set up, because the slight thing that's worried us over the last couple of games, whereas before we went in with a game plan, and I think Johnson, it looked like he went in with a right game plan, and even though, like I said, it was kind of the difference between the sides was maybe a goalkeeping performance or a big moment or missing a chance in the Charlton game. It slightly worried us that halfway through games he's kind of like ripped up the plan and almost started again with substitutions with half an hour to go or 20 minutes to go or whatever. And that's the slight concern about maybe how he's going to set up, whether he's got it right in the last couple of games, but hopefully against Wigan he'll get it right first time.
Yeah, that was one of the big debate points coming out of the Charlton game, was the team selection. I think he'll be keen, won't he, Craig, to put that right and sort of put out a team which we know will turn up and attack mainly. I mean, I know you made a great point there about Callum McFadden. Certainly did himself plenty favours by playing well, but people are going to be looking at Hume, looking at Jones. I mean, we didn't even touch on that really, but the decision not to start Jones at the weekend, those players you would think will come in, maybe Grant Ledbetter into the midfield, We have to now probably look at this and switch our game faces on and think, right, we're going to go, we're going to attack, we're going to play good football, we're going to dominate. And that's got to reflect in his team selection, hasn't it?
I would expect so, yeah. I've just been looking whilst you've been talking there, and I mean, Wigan have lost 22 games out of 40 this season. So if you're not sort of fired up for this one, then you're not going to get up for any other one, aren't you? And I think we need to start very high tempo. You're often seeing like Peterborough and Hull are like 2-0 up after like 10-15 minutes of places. And that's where I think our nerves as fans are setting in whilst watching at home. And I think we need to lay that marker down on Tuesday. We need to basically have that game sort of wrapped up by half time, where, for example, if Johnson does want to make 3 or 4 changes, it's just because the game's over with and it's resting the better players. Chris is right. The scrapping, the fighting for their lives, it's probably not going to be as easy as we'd like. But no. I'm still convinced, even with our makeshift sort of, kind of here, there and everywhere formations at the moment, that was still capable of going down there and getting 3 points. And, if we do, then it puts us straight back involved, keeps the pressure on the top 2. I know a lot of people are saying that we're out of it. We haven't bottled anything, not just yet. I think you've got questions and concern if we don't take maximum points on Tuesday, but this is going to go to the wire. There's going to be plenty of twists and turns left. And as Hannah mentioned in the replies there, the fact that Charlton have still got to play Peterborough and Hull, that's an advantage for us. So if we take maximum points on Tuesday, we're right back in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking as well at Wigan's sort of standing at the minute. They have a game in hand over Northampton, who are a couple of places above them. I mean, if they won against us, they would leapfrog Northampton. They would pull them into the bottom 4. So Wigan are going to be right up for it, because it's a big chance for them to get out of the drop zone and drag someone in. This is their game in hand, just like it's our game in hand over Hull. This is their game in hand. So anybody sort of expecting us to just turn up and roll them over, I think it's not going to be quite like that, because wounded animals are often the most difficult ones to come face to face with, and that's sort of what Wigan are at the minute. They're scrapping, they're fighting for their lives. I mean, I look quickly at the team that they put out against Doncaster that won the game, and there's a bunch of players there that have all got quite high level experience. Will Keane being one of them. He plays up front. They've got Curtis Tilt in defence, who's a player they actually beat us to the signing of. We were linked with him. Derrick, the right back, was playing for Burnley in the Premier League a couple of years ago. Like they're not. I'm not saying they're spectacular, but there are some good players in that team. So when it comes to it, they've got the experience in there to sort of battle and grind out points. So I'm certainly not taking Wigan lightly. But I mean, how would you approach the game, Chris? Would you? I know I touched on maybe picking a more attacking team. Is that what we've got to do here at Wigan? I mean, it's a big old pitch at their place. It's a good chance to get at them with a bit of pace, isn't it?
It is. But I'd like to see us start the Wigan game like we started the Peterborough game, and really kind of control the game, and maybe go with 2 up front, and maybe kind of get Jones and McGeady on the ball, get it wide, have Stewart up front with Wyke, and really kind of just bombard them really, and control the game like we did it. Because I think against lesser sides than Peterborough, I think the way that we set up at the beginning of that game, I think we'll trample over more sides in League One playing like that, like we did in that first half, and we'll get goals against most other teams. It was just that Peterborough are a good side, and they had a better defence than probably most. The second for a reason, and I just think if we go to Wigan and play like that and set up like that, I just think we'll trample all over them. But yeah, I mean, just in general, you were talking about, I know Craig mentioned bottling it and things like that. I mean, losing 1 in 15 isn't bottling it. I mean, all right, we're coming up against a couple of good sides, and we came off second best in the first game for a while, but there's still, I mean, there's, like we said, Charlton are going to play a big part in it. Blackpool are probably going to play a big part in it. There's going to be 2 or 3 twists and turns still to come in this season, and we've just got to keep on getting the points and keep on winning, and hopefully not care about anyone else. Yeah,
and I just think something Johnson says quite often. I think he's ice in the head and fire in the belly. It's something along those lines. It's right though. We have to just take a step back, take a breath, think right. There's 7 more opportunities. I think there's 7 games left. 7 more opportunities to pick up 3 points. Our fate's still in our own hands. We have to, play Hull. We've got games in hand on Hull. Just worry about one game at a time. Just take Wigan as in isolation. Pick a team that you think will win the game. Get them in the right headspace, because I would like to think that the players are really pissed off they got beat on Saturday, and they want to respond. They want to show all of us, they want to put the league on sort of hold and show everybody that we are still the team to fear in this league. And I honestly expect them to respond in that way. We've got so much experience in this team, go right through that side. Pretty much everybody's got a promotion on their record. Lee Burge got promoted with Coventry. Even McFadzean's been promoted with Plymouth. Luke O'Nien with Wickham. Sanderson, all right, young boy, but he's easily our best defender. Power's been promoted. Ledbetter's got promotion experience at a high level. You go right through the team. These players have all been here, done it. They just have to apply that experience in the right way, don't they, Craig?
Yeah. I was listening to Gary Bennett on the radio the other day, and he mentioned that this could actually work as a bit of a wake-up call, maybe just a bit of a kick up the arse, because perhaps complacency might have set in. But look, even in terms of some of our recent promotion seasons, we've had like setbacks. I remember when we went and won against Wigan back in 2005, our 8th consecutive win, and you think you've done enough. And then if memory serves, we went and got beat off Reading, and then we went and drew with Ipswich 2 games, and then all of a sudden you've got the doubts there. I remember when we got beat at Colchester under Roy Keane.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
And we were on a spectacular run of form then. So it's now, it's how you respond to it. And as you've said, every single one of those lads are going to be rightfully frustrated. They're probably going to read some of the things. They're going to see other people, whether it's like other journalists or people who cover our leagues. And let's be fair, I think they all took a bit of satisfaction in us getting beat, didn't they? When you see some of these EFL 72 specialists and all this, that and the other, like Sunderland have dropped out of it now. Sunderland sort of losing it a little bit. So I think that they're going to have something to prove. And I know that a lot of people are saying that the similarities are there between this and the 97-98 season or this and the Jack Ross season. I really don't think it is. I think these players have got more fire in them. I think they've got more to give, and I think over the course of the next 7 games, I'm certain that they're going to prove it. But look, even if it is the case that we are to say finish 3rd, it doesn't necessarily mean that the season's a write-off. We've already won at Wembley this season. We've still got every chance of going up. So I appreciate, whilst nobody wants to lose games, it's not the end of the season now. We really need to sort of reapply that focus and get 3 points on Tuesday.
Yeah. I've said that before, Craig, that we were 9th on the 19th of January. And just to be in it and still have it in our own hands, I just think just the fact that we're in that position is an achievement in itself, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just a couple of other things I want to quickly touch on before we finish up. The news today, we broke this in last month, that Mitch Curry was heading off to Inter Miami / Fort Lauderdale, the development team of Inter Miami. But I think it was confirmed this weekend that he's actually joined the squad. Sunderland haven't said anything, I don't think. But I just want to quickly get your thoughts on that, Chris. The fact that we're letting a player go, but it doesn't seem to be any sort of sadness tinge with this one, like with other players where we've seen them leave and people have been frustrated with the owners and stuff. With this one, everyone's sort of like, well, he's a young lad going to live in Miami. We can't really say like anything, can we? Get yourself away, kid, and do well. But yeah, how do you feel about it when you think about there's a lad there? I mean, he hasn't really actually played very long for us, but he has had a good spell for the 23s last year. To see him head off and take up a new opportunity elsewhere, are you bothered? Is it something that really bothers you?
It can't really, because I haven't seen enough of him.
Correct,
but I think all I can say is good luck to him, to be honest, and give him a pat on the back. Because I mean, who's going to turn that down? I mean,
I know.
If he was going to get a chance, I remember a few people were shouting to give him a chance when Charlie White was really having a bad time of it mid-season. The end of Parkinson, the start of Johnson, when he was kind of having that real kind of tough period, and people were saying give Curry a chance. He didn't get the chance, and now he's off to Miami. So fair play, enjoy it.
Yeah, fair enough. And just lastly, Craig, Sunderland ladies were knocked out of the FA Cup today as we record Sunday on penalties against Burnley. It seems from, obviously we weren't able to watch the game, but following the coverage and listening to the interviews afterwards, it sounds like Sunderland were a little bit unlucky not to win the game in normal time. That ends their season and sets them back to square one. I guess it's tough to take, isn't it, for the ladies fans? I guess they want to see them progress in the cup. What they ultimately probably don't want to see is that team split up, right? It's been a tough few years for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, it feels like, kind of every so often there is some sort of conspiracy, if you like, that continuously sets Sunderland ladies back.
Yeah. Whether
it's seasons getting ended, where they're not getting promoted and things like that, or they're getting voted out of, being in the top leagues. But it's a shame because obviously they had a comfortable win last weekend against Sheffield FC. And you would hope that momentum perhaps would have took them through. Everything that you've read, it suggests that they were the better side, and it's a shame because they would have come up against obviously Manchester United in the next round. So that might have been a bit of a lucrative tie. Who knows? It might have even been televised. But hopefully it's a chance now for them to reassess things. I know obviously that the owner has suggested that there is going to be investment into them going forward. So you'd like to think that not only is the coverage going to improve so we can actually watch these games, but you'd like to think that the opportunity for us to retain those players and hopefully kickstart a promotion for them next season, because they deserve it. The clubs all, have recently put out there the whole kind of one club, our club, this, that and the other, but the ladies team felt like they've been left behind considerably, and it's a shame because in recent years they've really kind of carried the success of Sunderland Football Club as a whole. Whilst the men's team have been faltering, they've done incredibly well. And it's a testament to Mel Ray and the side that they've managed to keep everything together, especially considering all of the setbacks. So, good luck to them over the summer. Hopefully once their season kicks off next time round, that they'll be in a place just to go all guns blazing.
Yeah. And just to end, Chris, I'm going to end on this and I'm going to ask you, bluntly, do you think Sunderland will still get promoted in the top two?
Yes, but yes, I do. But I don't think we'll end up as champions. I think we'll go up in second place, and I think we'll go up behind Hull.
Right.
But I think we'll go up automatically.
Well, I hope we don't go behind Hull because we've got to play them. That might mean that we don't take points off them. I don't know.
I think Peterborough will wobble. I think Peterborough have got a wobble in them.
Yeah. What about you, Craig?
I don't know. I'm actually convinced that Hull might drop points. They've got Charlton on the final day, but look, no matter who it is behind, providing we were in the top two, I think we'll go up second. I think unfortunately now the last two games has probably cost us going up as champions, but we've got plenty of wins left in the tank.
Well, I'm going with Anth Gare's mate, who apparently put 125 quid on something to win the league today. So I'm with him. I think we'll still win the league. Why not? Got to dream bigger.
Please gamble responsibly.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah, well, thanks, lads, for joining us once again. We'll be back after the Wigan game with player ratings. And let's just hope it's another win we're talking about. Catch you later.